Previously on Allergic to Average with Julius Kyazze.
This convention is so dear to me when you're talking about average and people being average and celebrating it. It's like graduations, for instance. I do not understand why people celebrate graduations.
Yeah.
Because it does not make you an exception. It's not different.
Right.
Like everyone is getting those.
Yes.
Like what are we celebrating? Like people are throwing huge parties. And I know this is also a bit controversial. I don't think birthdays are special. I think these are things that average people celebrate. You know, the future belongs to those that live in it.
We didn't get into this at the beginning, but this the portfolio, the catalog. People need to know what just. I didn't even know that you do the plastics. I didn't even know that you do the plastics. I think people need to know, if you don't mind. Let's just drop it.
Well,
there.
I don't think we have enough time to go through it, but I'll just, I'm a creative entrepreneur, so most of my energies and investments are in the creative space.
Yeah.
And I've tried to shave off quite a lot of the other things that are not in that space. I've kept some that are dear to me and the family, like the manufacturing business.
Yeah.
We set that up as a family, me and my wife and the kids, to, as something that they can go and learn from, and
Nice.
but the other businesses that I spend 90% my time on, or maybe 95% my time on, is the different agencies that we've kept buying into or acquiring or setting up, from BTL to creative. We recently just bought a good stake into a design agency in Nairobi. Some of these we announce, some we don't, but I'm a creative guy. Anything that is creative, it's production, it's whatever it is. So I'm focusing my energies on that and try and scale this across the continent and see how far we can take that.
You mentioned the plastics business as a vehicle for your family to have something to participate in, and also just creating longevity and generational wealth for your kids. Of course, in addition to all the other businesses that you participate in, but this brings me back to something that I wanted to ask you, because a lot of young men out here are very hesitant about the notion of finding a partner, settling down. You have guys who are just lifelong bachelors. You have young women out here who aspire to be in the soft life forever. But I happen to know that a big factor of your success is partnership. Yeah. The support system that you have at home with your wife, being a father to your children, is something that defines you as a man. Just being a family man, somebody who's present, who's active, who's dedicated to that. So can you talk to us a little bit about what role that plays in your life in terms of stabilizing you and grounding you in the face of all of these other challenges that you encounter when you're out there in the world, being able to go home and see these people that love you and support you unconditionally? How important is that to you?
Super, super important. I think every man, regardless of where you find it, but you need to find something bigger than your work. And for me, it's my children and my family. And that's why I keep saying I'm a father first, husband, before a businessman. It's how important it is. It's even difficult to quantify, but it's crucial. Does that mean that you can't do well if you're not, say, married, you don't have children? I don't think so. You just have to find your other anchor. And I don't want to sit here and start telling young men, please get married quick, or have children and all that. Or if you don't get married, no. Even the Bible, contrary, I don't know if you guys are Christian, but contrary to what people decide to read in the Bible actually says, if you're single, stay single. Because I'll save you from the pains of marriage. But if you're married, don't divorce your wife. It does actually. I'm not making it up. Go to 1 Corinthians, it should be verse 7, chapter 23 or something. It actually says, from 25, I think, 1 Corinthians should be verse 7, chapter 7, from about 25 to about 30. It talks about that. It talks about life of unmarried. So I don't want to be the one telling young people, please go get married. No. It's not one way to do it, but it helps if you find a reason to do something. I used to tell my wife, and I tell many people this, that, for instance, if you decide to be monogamous or truthful, don't do it because of your person or your spouse. No, because then you fail. You have to find meaning. What does it mean to you? And if you can't, because if you're going to be faithful and to your wife because you love her very much, what happens when she pisses you off? If she pisses you off, are you going to
flip out and become?
So you have to find your own meaning. Why you want to do that, and once you find the bigger meaning, you find that, then everything else starts to evolve around that. Like, I want to have, I want to be, a God-loving man with, with a stable family, give my kids a life maybe that I didn't have. So that becomes, a big anchor point. So it's one of those things that reminds you every time, that you have a duty. And as a man, we also need to stop these fancy talks of, find your passion, do this as a guy. As a man, I don't think you have many alternatives. Like, let's be honest about it. Yeah. Like, what's the other alternative? Like, you must grind, whether you like it or not.
That's it.
Yeah, it's even become so easy lately to win as a man. Like, I keep saying this a lot. Like, I think our fathers had to work so hard to win.
Yeah.
Because they had to win on battle, or they had to win in the battle of economics, like heavily. But now anyone can go by because everyone is happy to just be average. So which means for a young man to win now, all you have to do is just do the things no one is willing to do. And guess what? It's not even a lot. People are not even willing. And I'll give you some examples of of things that people don't think people put in time. Let's say witchcrafts or witch doctors, for instance. Those guys put in time.
Yes.
To cook up whatever they have to cook up. Yeah. Or if they are lies or if they are truth and all that, they don't sleep like everyone else. Yeah. You go to the professionals. If you're going to be the best doctor there is, you're going to be willing to go over and above than the clock, than the shift that you're given. Unfortunately, there's not enough people willing to do the extra. I'm not even saying be brilliant. Is there enough men? Are there enough men or enough women willing to wake up at 5 and work on themselves before their phone call starts to ring? Are there enough people willing to say, I'm not scrolling, I'm stopping the scrolling, and I'm going to read this book? Are there enough people saying, I'll show up even when it's raining? I'll show up even when I'm feeling bad. Not because I want to, but because I have to. Are there enough people saying, I'll go to the gym and put in the shift? Because it's not fun. It's painful. Are there enough people willing to do that? Now, they are not enough. So which means for you to win now, it's never been easier than it is now. Yes. Because you just have to show up. Because people are not even showing up.
Yeah. I like that.
I watched the podcast recently. I follow this podcast called the Social Proof Podcast. If you've never seen it, Social Proof Podcast. Okay. A guy named David Shenz. He has an amazing platform. And Social Proof Podcast, there was a host, a guest on the show recently. I think his name is Myron Gaines. And he made a statement that kind of really blew my mind. And I like the analogy, what you're talking about in terms of just willing to do the more, willing to do the extra. It's kind of like the grind in the dark. So he made the analogy of a tree. Okay. And a tree grows in both directions. It grows toward the sun, but it also grows toward the dark, underground. And in order for a tree to sprout and grow toward the sunshine and enjoy the shine, it first has to grow underground through the soil, pushing rocks and earth out of the way to develop a very strong root system that allows it to tap into the soil and nourish itself enough to then grow toward the sunlight and bloom. So we as humans, and we as men in particular, we can learn something from that analogy of the tree. because in order for us to, a lot of people just want the shine.
Yeah.
They want to shine in the spotlight, right? They want to look good. They want to be celebrated. They want to be recognized as being excellent.
I've seen record label owners who take the red carpet before the artists.
Yes.
So people want this, the shine.
But what are they doing to grind in the dark?
Yeah.
What work are they doing that goes unrecognized and unnoticed? The unglamorous stuff. So, you know, one of the things that I appreciate and recognize most about you, Julius, is that whenever I come to a Swangs or a Buzz event, you're on the ground. You have your headset on, you have your sleeves rolled up, you're in the muck, you're in the mud, you're getting it out the mud, and you have your hands on. There's no job that you're doing that you assign to another staff member that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. You're rigging equipment and you're troubleshooting, you're problem solving, and you're doing this and you're doing that. Your hands on, you're on the ground, you're in the grind with it. You're doing the work in the dark. That's the unglamorous stuff that people now benefit from when the final product comes out. You're in the kitchen cooking, mixing, right? Formulating. And so I think that's a message that a lot of people need to hear more about. Is it's less about the end result of what it is that you're trying to do. What's more substantial is what work are you willing to do in the dark, those late night hours? Yeah. What are you doing 2-3 o'clock in the morning in your home office when you're typing those proposals and you're writing up those scripts for the advertisements that you want to pitch to your clients, or when you're writing that business plan, that proposal? What grind are you willing to put in? Yeah. Is it an extraordinary grind, or are you willing to just be complacent and be average? Because that will ultimately identify where you land in the pecking order of things.
And if you want to be average, just listen to that nonsense. So find a balance, life work balance, then you're finished.
Yeah.
You're finished. Unless if you're an old man, you can afford to find that balance.
Yeah.
But if you're young and trying to get up, first forget that. Because imagine a Michael Jordan trying, also being pro golf and finding a balance, and also being pro tennis and pro something else.
Yeah.
You know, Tiger Woods trying to be also finding a balance and do other things. And we do this to even our children. Well, let him do this and that. It's good to expose them. But at the age we are at, and slightly older than you guys, but we're not very far off, we have to grind.
Yeah.
Like it's not even debatable. But the beauty about it, it's so easy to win now, because most men are becoming very feminine. We have more feminine men than actual men. Like people wake up and they are looking for an opportunity to be offended.
Soft guy era.
Like they are keen to be offended.
This guy is reading from my Bible right now. I'm telling you.
They are keen to be offended. But I looking at our fathers, I don't think that's how they got anything done.
Definitely
No.
not. Yeah.
And now what is happening? I'm a father of 3 daughters.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I'm really worried. I'm worried about the kind of
they're
men
going to
my
marry.
daughters are going to find. Guys, it's worrying. And no one is talking to the boys, you know, eh?
Yeah,
like everyone talking to but the boys, we are just figuring it out on our own. I'm very passionate about that subject, actually.
Yeah.
The boys are figuring it out on their own. And what's happening? We are getting more feminine men.
Yeah.
You know, because they think it's going to be cool doing the female cures, because the women are going to blackmail you into it. You need to help me with that. No, women just need protection.
Yes.
Protect them, provide for them. But how are you going to do that
When
if you're home washing dishes?
Trying to get security also.
They will like you there for the moment, but she's going to leave you later for a guy who's able to tell her, baby, we are going for dinner. Where? Just dress up, I know where.
Yes.
And a guy who's not going to look on the left side of the menu to check the prices. She's going to leave you for that guy. And they will tell you, no, we don't do that, it won't happen. She will leave you. Because they are wired to seek protection and safety. That's how God created them. And they're beautiful beings. The best thing that has ever happened to us is a woman.
True.
But that sanctuary that gives life needs to be protected. Needs to be provided for. So as men, we cannot hide and start saying, I don't feel like this. I don't feel like doing that. No, we have a duty to do it.
You can't run.
A bit too much.
No, you can't run from your responsibility. You can't run from the grind, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. If you want great things out of life, whether it be to have an affluent lifestyle, whether it be to have a successful business, whether it be to marry a woman who is beautiful and desirable and who should be treasured and cherished that way, it all involves a grind. It all involves a hustle. You need to prove that you deserve it, and you need to demonstrate through repeated daily action.
Even in the Bible,
absolutely,
and God would run for it.
Yes,
it's actually it's actually simple. Someone just told me women just need security, and when you think of security, guys be like, women want money. Guess what? That's financial security.
That's security.
Yeah,
women want a guy who's strong. Guess what? That's physical security.
And there's nothing
security.
There's nothing about women wanting money. There's absolutely nothing.
It's not. Yeah.
There you go.
I don't think there's a problem.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Everyone wants money.
Then we should
Everyone
make it
needs
so we can
Exactly.
provide it.
Exactly. So we have to grind.
Oh man, comments about to be on fire with this one. I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay, man. So, Kanye West. When Kanye came to Uganda, he connected with you on Swangs, and he set up his recording studio in a bubble. Was it at Chobe? Somewhere around there, right?
Chobe, yeah.
Just narrate that entire experience from the time that you got that phone call, that first email, phone call, text message. Just, please, it's story time with Julius, the Kanye West chapter. What was that all about? What was it like? How the hell did you ring fence people from trying to get in on that action from you? Because I know your phone was blowing up like crazy when people heard about it. Yeah. Just tell us that story about what that experience was like.
So working with Kanye West was many things. For me as a person, but also as a business. First, when the phone call came in and the email started coming in, we're like, this seems like a scam. But it was happening too quick, especially. Like too fast. I think the guy made a decision like in a week and everything starts to move quickly. But they're like, okay, let's follow the script. Let's follow the guide. What do they want? Okay, you respond, you supply, you deliver, you communicate. So I remember the point when it hit me that actually this thing is happening is when I met his personal assistant. And this lady was fussing about, so the bedroom has a Samsung 40-inch and the sitting room has a Sony 41-point-something inch TV. That's a problem. And now we are in a room that we've secured for Kanye. The TV in the bedroom must be the same color, size, model, make. He can't move from the bedroom and move to the sitting room and then
the ratio TV.
so when that became an issue, I was like, now it's real. Kanye is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now this is
it's real.
So, because then we went into things like we've drawn a line, but at the point where it touches, it doesn't touch properly. You know, this is a chalk line on the floor in the studio. So build a studio for him in the forest. But he likes to walk. I also have that habit. I like to I like to walk. Like that's how I think. That's how I create. So also seeing, oh, this guy is actually like this was a bit like, okay, so this is not odd. So he walks a lot, even around the studio. So we draw a chalk circle in the studio. But at the point where it touches, you see how trivial that is, eh? Don't even try to overthink it, thinking you're missing something. No, you're not. Yeah. It's chalk I'm talking about. It's not even complex. Yeah. So at the point where it touches, where we draw, and so there was a bit of, and it was an issue. Like we had to redo everything and delete the charcoal, the paint, and just, I was like, okay, now Kanye is coming.
The OCD was in.
Yeah, and then finally comes in, and our first interaction was around. So when I introduced myself, Julius, and I said, no, that's not our name. So that blew me. I was like, okay, this guy is deeper. So he's like, no, those are not our names. Julius is not our name. I need to know the indigenous name. So like I'm just saying. So like, can we print some t-shirt with Kyazze? I always see it when I need help, and I like Kyazze. So that interaction in the moment where he's talking to me about our names and Benon, so I'm with Benon, and he's talking to us about, the need for us to identify with who we are, was a bit embarrassing, but also enlightening for someone who's not even lived on the continent, to remind us of the things we should embrace. And these are the things we are walking away from. So we spent that whole week with him working. But also there's this thing that people say, oh, he's crazy, he's mad. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I think the guy is next level genius. And usually when people do not understand or are not at the same frequency as you are, it's easier to write you off as mad. And I'm not saying he's mad or not. I'm not a doctor. Yeah. But I spent a week with a guy. I worked with a guy, and I think he's next level genius. And I'll give an example. So we're in a conversation after a session, and we're talking about African problems and how to solve them. And he's telling me, and Benon, and another friend of mine, a technical person we are with, so he's telling us about maybe we need to stop all this pothole thing and fixing. It's expensive. We could invest in Hoover technology, where they can just hoover off the roads. And he explains it, and he goes deeper into it. So my guy nudges me and says in Uganda, I told you your guy is mad. He says in Uganda, because Kanye West.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I was like, okay, this explains it. It's you's mad because of your understanding, your little understanding of what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because what Kanye was talking about was actually experimented in Australia at the time. It was actually happening. But it was so futuristic that if you don't understand it,
you think he's mad.
Then there's this other conversation where he talks about people spending so much time wasting time and resources talking about all these things, global change and and global warming, but that's not the issue. He says the issue, we should save the bees.
I've heard about something like that.
And then, so if you don't have that level of understanding, you're going to write him off as mad. What does it mean we need to save the bees when we need to save the planet? Because it says for you to save the planet, you need to save the bees. Now you can do your homework. It's actually fact.
Pollination.
Like without bees, we would most likely be dead. Because they cross-pollinate things and all that. Exactly. And he says there's no intentional drive to preserve them or protect them, but we are protecting the wrong things. So I think it's genius. I think it's smart. Even from a creative standpoint, I think it's next level. And the public is just not used to people being frank and open and saying things that they should say.
I'm pretty sure every scientist or genius at one point was looked at as mad.
Yeah, but the guy is next level because he was working while we were working on music. He has his the other group that is working on clothes with at the same time, so they're working on clothes. Some of these Asian guys that are with him and some ladies, and they're doing sketches that don't make sense. They're like scribbles of a nursery kid, but they are working. They're creating clothes.
Yeah.
So for me, that was mind blowing to see a genius at work.
Did that experience lend itself to any of the maybe creative ways of working?
I'll tell you what it did to me personally. I was at a level where so you start to question yourself because even as Swangs as a culture, we push a lot ourselves on everything at every front.
Yeah.
But sometimes the market gets you to lower your expectation and standards to try and fit in. Now, when we met Kanye West, we even kept telling ourselves with Benon when we were working, this guy picked the right people. He picked the right people because no one else would take those demands. This guy had crazy demands. But for us, what it did to us is we now knew and embraced that impossible is nothing. Like anything is possible. You just have to decide it's possible. Then you can do anything. Like sometimes lately I keep saying, I believe I can do anything if I put my head to it. And lately I do it for sport. I keep saying I do things for sport. Like I don't do business for business. I do business for sport. It's fun. It's a business of sport. Sometimes I lose. Sometimes I make wrong decisions. Sometimes I don't even see them as wrong decisions. I see them as lessons. I'm like, okay, so this lesson is maybe a bit expensive than the other course, but it's okay. We move on. Yeah. But there's a lot of that from those interactions with Kanye West. It's a guy who comes in the studio and he picks on something that you think is not important and has to be fixed.
Yes.
We fixed that studio in about 5 days. A lot of work. We're in the forest. A lot of work day and night. We needed about 2 weeks to do that, or 3 weeks. We were given about 3 days actually.
Yes.
2 nights, 3 days. Yeah.
Yes.
We did it. The guy comes and he loves it.
Yeah.
And he says, I love this. Can I have 2 more tomorrow?
Thanks for the 2 weeks work in 3 days.
I look at Benon. They're like, you love your studios tomorrow.
Yes.
But that was insane. We didn't know what we were going to do it because half the stuff in the studio we had built, some of it we had to put on his jet when he was coming. Some of it we had to get from Nairobi. But the man says, I want it tomorrow. But when you work with Kanye, first you have a blank check. So you can't go to him and tell him this is not possible. Like how? Like there's a night he told me, Julius, I need to meet someone who's spiritually connected to the motherland. You are so fascinated about the motherland. Someone who's spiritual. So I told him, okay, all right, you'll have your person tomorrow. So Shaka was already coming. So I knew Shaka is coming anyway. So like Shaka can handle this conversation. He's deep with this stuff.
Yeah.
But Kanye couldn't understand why he couldn't come now.
Right now.
Then there's a song he listened to, Malik Berry, the Nigerian producer.
Yeah.
Because we kept playing stuff for him. And he's like, I like that sound. Can you get that guy to come in here? Now, that's why I said he got the right tip. Because we could not tell him, oh, now he's in Nigeria, he's where. At the time the guy was even in London. We got the guy here.
Where Malik Berry in?
We got Malik Berry, I think a day after. We brought him in from London. He didn't even work with him.
Just came in.
Yeah.
Just to be in the room with a guy.
But that shows you like impossible is nothing. You just have
That
to
is
say
facts. That is facts.
That's amazing.
I think unless something is physically impossible, it's not impossible. Like let's say you go to United States, be in America in 10 minutes from now. That's physically impossible. But I think beyond that, anything can be done.
But you also know there are people with those abilities.
See, that's a whole conversation I'm not ready for.
No, you should be. As an African man, you need to go find yourself. Go back and find, the things that made you or the things that your ancestors used to do in the past. Some of these things we read about in the Bible, but also used to happen here. There are individuals that would be in two places at the same time. You never heard of that?
I've heard of.
And because we couldn't understand it, so we kept asking, what kind of craft is that? And that's how it became, which craft is that? But because we couldn't understand it, or the people that we are writing these things couldn't understand it, but there are people that had that ability, that I was with Gabsi and someone else was with him in another place. So there are people that I believe God spiritually empowered to do different things. The same way there are people that have the ability to heal. but for you, if you're going to create the future, maybe you also need to first
Understand
look in
the
the
past.
To
past.
the past.
Yeah.
Go to the past, understand those things. How did these things happen? And maybe then you can create the future.
We wanted to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Please.
Real quick, just to kind of get some free association. So we're going to throw a few names at you. You tell us what's the first thing that comes to mind. Okay? I'll start, then you can go.
There you go. I'm not as ready as you are.
So, Jose Chameleon.
Exceptionally talented. A troubled man lately. Exceptionally talented. Yeah. Disturbed talent recently.
I have a complicated one. Hip hop today.
Must my answers be short?
Speak as freely as you want to.
So hip hop today, there's two schools of thought. So there's one school of thought that hip hop today is dead. I don't think hip hop is dead. Hip hop is dead to the people that consumed the old format of hip hop. There's a format that we knew of hip hop.
Yeah.
That was championed by the great Miss Mayanja, Navio, Clear Cut, awesome, amazing rappers. And that is gone. It's starting to phase out. Does that mean hip hop has died? No, that format has died. But Alien Skin is hip hop. And it's made a solid claim to what the past legends have done. People like Jene Ozamba, Fefe Bus is hip hop. There are other guys, I believe, that we haven't seen. There's a generation of many more alien skins that are spitting lines and bars in Uganda. Just that the early lovers of hip hop, people like us, the older guys, we didn't consume it in our local dialects. So we can easily think it's dead. I think it might be bigger than it's ever been before.
All right. Then, Navio.
Navio, smart businessman, very good work ethic, very, very good work ethic as an artist. One of the best artists with a good, work ethic. But I think he's shortchanged himself for the industry in a way. At some point, I felt Navio was the most connected not artist, but individual in our industry.
Okay.
And I believed he could have done quite a lot with those connections. In terms of, and I spoke to Dan at Navio about this before. I thought those connections could have been enhanced further to say, give us 4 or 5 Navios, or give us 2 other clear cuts, or give us the next generation. I feel Navio had that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because, we all came out almost same time. Swangs, that generation, same generation. And Navio would get every video, bad, short, long, ugly, nice, beautiful. It will be on MTV base. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
It will be the only Ugandan piece of art that will get international exposure. So that you can use, but you can also extend it and still benefit from that. And I think, Navio is awesome. He's done everything, but I feel there's a missed opportunity there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to change gears a bit. Physical health.
Sorry?
Physical health.
Physical health.
Yeah.
So physical health, personally, I plan on making so much money, and I don't intend to share it with doctors as much as it accumulates. So that's why while I'm on the grind, I also take care of the body to try and, I think it's important. It's difficult to be a creator and you're creating and then you're nursing issues. You need to be in your best shape to dream. It's difficult to dream when you have some disturbing, nagging pain. And it's like, how are you going to dream the future?
I know, it's just a funny answer. That's funny.
Yeah, you can. How are you dreaming? You can dream the future when you're not sure of tomorrow. There's this guy, one of the guys in the industry, who needed to promote a show at some point, and he felt I was the best target to use to promote a show. So he attacked me everywhere and said things. But I didn't take offense because I'm like, man, we are not guaranteed tomorrow. All of us are not guaranteed tomorrow. But some of us have been blessed to afford to dream it. There are people, and this we take for granted, there are people that cannot dream beyond a year. Even if they wanted, they can't. There are facts in front of them.
Yeah.
That we just have to be respectful and honor that, and understand that this person doesn't have this privilege. And when that privilege is taken away from you, and there's a cloud in front of that future, we've not been there. So you don't know how people deal with that. You don't know what they are dealing with that when the ability to dream far ahead is taken away from you. Like I feel sorry for that. So I'm very, very compassionate with someone like that, because the ability to dream, I feel, is the biggest gift of life. And to dream as far as you can. Now, for people that maybe don't have clarity of that, or are not sure if they can dream as far as they can, it's a sad state. So I didn't take an offense.
Club Silk.
Hey. Club Silk. Yeah, I'll just give you a personal story about Club Silk. So for me, it's Club Silk Street Jam. Club Silk Street Jam. That was the stage everyone wanted to be on. And as a dancer, I never got to step on that stage. And I tried 3 times. From school, I get on a taxi, come and bench at Silk, wait for Elvis, wait for Alan Intanda, for a full day. To get a minute to ask them, I have a dance group. Can my dancers get on stage for free? Then you don't see them. They are busy, they will pass you and all that. Then you come back next year. It used to happen around Easter. Come back next year with your dancers. So finally, one day, Elvis sees him, he's like, oh, you are the guy of the dancers. Yeah, I'm the guy of the dancers. Okay. Eclipse. Then they've made a name now. Somewhere, people hear us and all that. So they're like, oh, you talk to Alan. So there's even Anduka Folk, I think. So I talked to Alan. So I talked to Alan for the performance, and he says, "Oh, you come. You guys come early to the street jam tomorrow, Friday, whatever it is. Be here early so we can put you early before the big boys." We just woke up in the morning from Mukono, just came to Silk in the morning. But the street jam starts in the night. It was like, let's be here, no chances. If we have to perform to 10 people, we'll do that. We wait, tell us, wait, we'll put you on. Don't stress us, we'll put you on. We wait, it starts to rain, we get soaked. We don't have transport to go back. We didn't actually perform. That was the biggest stage in the country then. I chased it for 3 years and I was never given a chance to step on that stage. And then we had to walk back to Mukono.
You walked back to
Mukono. At 1
a.m. You walked back to Mukono at 1 a.m.
We found a taxi that took us at some point, that took us up to Boyogere. Then we walked from
Boyos to Mukono, through Seta, Darka Valley and everything.
And Namavi was a forest then. It was even called Namavi Forest.
This is 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. So when you say Club Silk, for me that's the memory. Street jam. And me not being able to step on that stage. Or my group to step on that stage. Yeah.
Did you guys want to sleep that night?
No, but I mean, that never stopped us.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That never stopped us. Because it happened many times at Sabrina's as well. Yeah, but
you know, I mourn the passing of Club Silk. Because I truly believe that much as we have other clubs, Governor, etc., I truly believe that social media killed the nightclub in Kampala. Here's why. You know, way back when I was in my
club going
days of vibing girls from Makerere University hostels.
Now you're vibing from where? From your house. You're vibing your wife every day.
Yeah. My wife gets my personal one-on-one attention, right? Undivided attention. But those were the days before being able to vibe a girl via WhatsApp, Snapchat, Insta, sliding in the DM and all of that stuff. Like, you had to have game. You had to have lyrics. And you had to be able to spend one-on-one time with a woman and court her and convince her that you were that suave, smooth dude that she wanted to spend her time with. And the best way of doing that was to take her dancing in the club.
Yeah.
So, you know, there were those Friday nights when you start at a place like Al Zawadi, right? Yeah. You hang out, stake out, right? Fat boys and all of that stuff. But inevitably, wherever you were, Mateo's, wherever your night started, inevitably, by like 1, 2 a.m., disco. Yeah. Yes. We go and we dance, and we're in Club Silk until 5, 6 in the morning, and you're rubber dabbing in like a dark corner there, whispering sweet nothings in her ear. And that's how a lot of families are started, man. That's how a lot of young men found their wives, and that's how a lot of the couples that are, you know, having longevity into their 40s got started, man, because they were together, they were enjoying themselves, and they weren't, you know. So I just think nowadays when you just see a place full of tables and chairs and people sitting around, you could find 4 people at the same table, all on their phones, WhatsApping each other instead of having a conversation. I long for those days, man. I'm an old head. I'm an old school guy, man.
Actually, you make a point, Gabs. I think Silk then, or discos, were hunting grounds.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, at about 4, 5, as a guy, you start to scheme and think, okay, how is this night ending? Is it a night or is it a miss? So it was a hunting ground. So now with social media, I think, you know, bachas can hunt anywhere. You know, so
it's like shopping on Amazon, man. Jumia. It's an online catalog.
It's e-commerce shopping. Yeah.
You know what's weird? What's weird is that some years back, I'll just say it as it is. So I was a friend of mine, some American guy. So I meet him at the club. A guy called Leo. I'm like, hey, Leo, what's up, man? What are you doing? How are you doing at the club? And this is what he says. Quote me. This time he's like, man, I'm just trying to get some pussy. He says that. I'm like, I guess that's what he's doing. He says that like he was actually looking around. This is like 4 a.m. He's in a club. Like, I am trying to leave with a cat.
Yep.
Tonight.
But that's what used to happen.
That's what used to happen.
You've been Silk, and you identify a girl, and then you have to keep tracking her. because she might disappear in the crowd. It was always fast.
Yes. You're always looking from like the corner.
Yeah,
like
like
that's
you
the
have
one.
to monitor. You don't even hear the music anymore. Like where's she gone? Like,
And you slip. You go to the bathroom at the wrong time. You'll find another guy rubbing her in that corner.
So guys,
you
and
missed your
I
shot.
always have that guys just have the move of just coming and just dance from behind. You come slow and just hope.
Yeah.
Hope you pass the screening process.
No, it's
you
called
start
closing in.
Exactly, you close in.
Sorry.
Then you start the dance. You have about 30 seconds to 1 minute before you go for the screening process.
Yeah.
Screening was when she turn around, look at you, look down, look, then go back, and then you decide have you passed. She either goes away or she continues dancing.
Yeah,
She
then
continues
you know
dancing. You're like,
you're onto something.
now we're on part 2.
Sometimes you have the friend who's standing in front of her looking at you as
that's
you
one
approach,
screening.
and she throws that eye signal like this.
Like, he's not the one.
Yeah.
Hey.
But you know what happens now?
Uh-huh.
A friend of mine we were talking about the other day. So it's now e-commerce dating proper. So we don't go to Club Silk to shop. But gyms have become the new place.
Hey.
Yes. Because gyms are heavy on dance music. They are playing good music and they're doing dance classes and the women are half naked. You know,
Pretty much.
yeah, and there are all these, you know, honey men in the gyms and all that. So that's a Club Silk mix right there.
There you go.
You know?
So my guy,
and the guys
renew
have
your
the
membership.
chance to even show
Renew
some
your
abs
membership,
now.
please. Huh?
He said renew
We
your
we believe in physical fitness. We embrace the right to become physically fit on the Allergic to Average program. So, you know, if you see my man Play One
Posting gym
lurking in
selfies.
a dance class near you, don't believe it's because he's trying to get his heart rate up.
Don't listen to this guy. Don't listen to this guy. Physical fitness.
No, but some of us old men will go there to, you know, not give doctors as much money.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the excuse we're using
That's
officially.
it.
No.
That's the official one.
No.
Any final questions for Julius, man?
If honestly, I don't have any other questions. It's just interesting to see how you're doing it and how you are doing what you have to do. Because at the end of the day, like you said, as a man, you just do what you have to do. Clearly, you work out. Clearly, you're dreaming. Clearly, you're available for your family and your daughters, and you are still you're not balancing. You're just doing, and I feel like that's impressive.
Yeah, I'm not trying to find life balance. I'm trying
Yeah.
to be overly imbalanced on the growth side.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
it. man.
if I'm going to get in trouble, let me get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever gets in trouble for grinding or doing what they have to do. It's about knowing your duty and maybe parting shots. Guys, this is the best time to be in Africa.
True.
The best time to be African. You know, gone are the days when being African was like it's cool to be African. And where we are headed, you're going to find people of no color. We are people of color, right?
Yes.
Our other guys, they're going to want to be us.
That's right.
They're going to want to be associated. Because it's so super cool to be African now. And we're in a time where, you remember back in the day, like everyone would look at everything foreign as cool. Now, even the foreign artists can't outsell the local artist. You know, when it comes to shows and stuff. So we need to stop whining about all these things and embrace the times. Because what's going to happen, someone is going to see the opportunity and they are going to take it. Many years ago, I've always been saying, we need to structure our record labels. We need to structure our creative business. Because if we do not structure, someone is going to come and help us structure that. And we won't have a piece of that pie. A check will be written to us, you know, to just do the daily stuff. We must embrace what is in front of us. You know, it's the best time to be African. It's the best time to be Africa. It's, you know, there's something happening. And if we don't stop whining and complaining about these things, the opportunity is going. It's going. Look at what has happened with Universal and Mavins in Nigeria. You know, you look at what's happened in South Africa. You're looking at the monies that are exchanging hands. Afrexim Bank has earmarked $1 billion to support the creative industry on the continent. They don't even know how to do it. And then our musicians are caught up in funny, loose battles, government stealing, give us this, give us that. We should be going to government and tabling private-public partnerships. Like, Sorry if you guys are running out of time.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
Like I see these conversations a lot. Oh, government is giving musicians money. For what? Like, why are you giving these guys money? You should
Stimulus checks to starving artists.
But what have you done?
Yeah.
Tell us what you've done. Tell us I've created jobs and I pay taxes and I'm pressured, to survive. My business is pressured to survive. Because what is happening now, the government is not helping us by giving us handouts because it's encouraging this habit of beg. Beg, cry, press conference, then you get. What they should be telling us instead, everyone get a TIN number. Register your business, operate like a business.
Yes.
Now, once you operate like a business and you have a track record, private sector is going to support you because they know you're not a sham. You're a business that employs people. When you go to government, that conversation is different. It's not, we are suffering, help us, help you for what? Every Ugandan is suffering. It will be a conversation of, we have a business and we pay taxes and we employ 100 people and we employ creatives and we train and school these people and they are able to put food on the table for their families. We need to get some capital that is at a rate lower than the commercial rate, for instance. And you'll be able to measure, okay, if you want to help us and give us a handout, what are you basing on? Then it should be based on what is your gross earning as a business in the creative industry. By giving us handouts as a creative industry, they are killing the industry even further because people are like, you don't have to even work hard. Whoever is the loudest will get the envelope or will get the appointment in government. It shouldn't be that. It should be down to the business. If you need to get taxpayers' money, actually, like this time when they are calling us to Gulu, like everyone was going to Gulu, we refused. Swanks didn't go to Gulu. We're like, this is even insulting. Swanks is a media taxpayer in this country, and those are not very many. So which means we pay our taxes, which means all our artists are paying taxes. And everyone is there pushing for, give us money, we've suffered. But what is your contribution to the country? Like you've been singing 20, 15 years, you've never declared your earnings, but now because you squeeze, you want us to give you our money, taxpayers' money. Like that needs to be resolved. Because I think government is actually cultivating a monster. We are encouraging people to not work, but come and get money. And then after we complain, politicians are stealing money. The musicians, we've gotten involved in that. We want the money, but let's structure the business. The thing is onto us. Things happening in Rwanda on the creative space because they decided to, institutionalize that industry. Things happen in West Africa. They decided to build institutions and structures. Things are happening in the rest of Africa. We are here asking for handouts. Government needs to be talking to us for partnerships, not envelopes. Yeah, and this is across, not just musicians, even visual artists. Even comedians, even actors. We've become specialists at complaining. You call a creative, come at 8 a.m., we are meeting the minister because there's someone waiting for, they all come. Call a creative and tell them, I need you at 8 for a studio session. There's stories there. Then where are your priorities?
True.
Actually, Ugandans should even be vocal about this. Why are you giving out handouts? Because then you're not helping us. Let's structure our businesses so that you can help us when you're structured. Then we can put you to account as well. But
wow, man, that's crucial.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had a metaphysics lesson. Spirituality has entered the conversation. This is amazing, man. I didn't really understand the depth of who you are as a man. And sitting here with you is a real privilege, man, because, we respect you as a businessman.
Yes.
We respect your accomplishments. A lot of people respect what they can see on the surface, like we talk about. What you read on the internet is what you have access to, but to be able to just tap into your beautiful mind and absorb so much of this game from you, it's a real privilege, man. And I hope that this audience that's viewing this, I hope that everybody who's getting an opportunity to just soak up all of this content can really, use it to reflect upon their own journeys. Are you living in the now, or are you living in the future? Are you visualizing the future and purposefully using today to build toward that, or are you using today to embrace what was from the past? Are you reflecting upon everything that's around you and how you can utilize a growth mindset in order to be able to get ahead. I think we've taken so many lessons, man. I need to watch this back over and over and over again to really soak up everything, man. But Julius, we appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation with us today.
I have quite a bit. I think this is the first podcast I'm doing. I never do interviews, actually.
Yes.
For the risk of getting cancelled.
Yes.
So I try and sound politically correct when I can. But thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Yes, 100%, man. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, please go in the comments. Share your thoughts about what you've seen and heard discussed today, man. Of course, like, subscribe, follow us on all of our platforms. Everything is going to be on the screen. But until next time, guys, we are allergic to average, as you can clearly see, based upon who we keep company with right now. And this next chapter is just getting started, man. We're just getting warmed up, guys. So we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you.